Middle-class meltdown, a glimpse into 2025. If you ever thought that only the poor are hungry, only the poor suffer, then perhaps you were mistaken. Ask thousands of middle-class people in America in 2025, and they will tell you what reality is. Go on, ask them about the gnawing fear in their gut when they open their bank accounts. Ask them how far they have to drive to find a grocery store with food on the shelves. Ask them how many times they've had to skip a meal. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to choose between food and keeping a roof over their heads. This isn't some dystopian fantasy, folks. This is the reality creeping in on middle America, slowly but surely, tightening its grip. We are barreling towards a future where the middle class, the supposed backbone of this country, is slowly being ground down into dust. From the sun-baked streets of Phoenix to the windswept plains of Denver, we're taking a hard look at 5 cities grappling with this unsettling new reality. Buckle up, kids, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. All content is informational and does not attack any individual or organization. Phoenix, Arizona, a city known for its scorching summers and even hotter real estate market. But lately, the heat in Phoenix has taken on a new intensity, one that's pushing its middle class to the brink. Phoenix is reeling from the double whammy of skyrocketing living costs and a dwindling supply of, well, pretty much everything. Remember those empty supermarket shelves we saw during the early days of, well, you know, the thing we don't talk about. Yeah, that's becoming a regular occurrence in Phoenix. Except now it's not just toilet paper that's vanished. It's fresh produce, it's meat, it's basic staples that used to be as common as sand in the desert. The cost of living in Phoenix has soared higher than a hawk on a methamphetamine bender. Rent has gone through the roof, and don't even get me started on the housing market. Families who once enjoyed the luxury of 2 incomes are now finding themselves squeezed onto a single paycheck. Jobs, those mythical creatures that used to roam freely in the desert, are becoming as rare as a rain cloud in July. The middle class in Phoenix, much like the city's namesake bird, is trapped in a perpetual cycle of rising from the ashes, only to be consumed by the flames once more. It's a vicious, unforgiving cycle, and it's leaving many wondering if the American dream is nothing more than a mirage shimmering in the desert heat. Chicago, that toddling town where the wind blows cold and the bills are piling high. Yes, folks, we're heading north to the heartland of America, where even the once mighty middle class is feeling the chill of economic uncertainty. Chicago, a city built on grit, determination, and an alarming amount of deep dish pizza, is facing a crisis of its own. Remember those iconic Chicago neighborhoods, brimming with mom-and-pop shops and the tantalizing aroma of Italian beef sandwiches? Well, they're starting to look a little different these days. The familiar neon signs are flickering, replaced by for rent signs that hang like shrouds over once vibrant storefronts. The rising cost of living, coupled with stagnant wages, has created a perfect storm that's sinking the middle class faster than a concrete block in the Chicago River. Families are being forced to make impossible choices. Do they pay the rent or put food on the table? Do they buy new shoes for their growing children or pay the ever-increasing utility bills? Heating bills are skyrocketing, forcing families to choose between staying warm and, well, everything else. The middle class in Chicago, once the backbone of the city's economy, is now facing an economic backbone realignment. They're being priced out of their homes, priced out of their neighborhoods, and priced out of the very lifestyle they worked so hard to achieve. The winds of change are blowing through the windy city, and they're not blowing in favor of the middle class. Chapter 3. Seattle, the Emerald City, where the coffee flows like wine and the tech industry used to boom louder than a grunge band in a Pike Place Market fish market. But lately, Seattle's emerald glow has been fading faster than a grunge band's flannel shirt after one too many mosh pits. Seattle, once a beacon of innovation and economic prosperity, is grappling with the consequences of its own success. The tech industry, which once propelled Seattle to new heights, has become a double-edged sword, driving up the cost of living while simultaneously making it nearly impossible for anyone outside of the tech elite to afford even a modest existence. Remember those charming craftsman bungalows that dotted Seattle's hillsides? Well, they're now worth more than the entire GDP of a small island nation. Owning a home in Seattle has become a pipe dream for most, and even renting a one-bedroom apartment requires selling your internal organs on the black market. Not that we condone that, of course. And as the cost of living skyrockets, so too does the cost of, well, everything else. A cup of coffee will set you back the price of a small car, and don't even think about ordering avocado toast unless you're prepared to remortgage your house. The middle class in Seattle, once accustomed to a comfortable lifestyle, is now finding themselves priced out of their own city. The vibrant, eclectic neighborhoods that once defined Seattle are becoming increasingly homogenized, populated by tech workers who can afford the exorbitant rents and the even more exorbitant cost of living. Seattle, the city that once promised a brighter future, is now a cautionary tale of what happens when the gap between the haves and the have-nots grows too wide. Chapter 4. Orlando, Florida. A place where dreams are supposed to come true, at least that's what the mouse wants you to believe. But behind the carefully crafted facade of theme parks and tourist traps lies a different reality, one where the magic is fading faster than a Mickey Mouse impersonator's smile after a 12-hour shift. Orlando, once a beacon of sunshine and opportunity, is now grappling with the harsh realities of a changing economy. The service industry, the backbone of Orlando's economy, is struggling to stay afloat in a sea of rising costs and stagnant wages. Remember those cheerful cast members always ready with a smile and a song? Well, they're starting to look a little less cheerful these days as they struggle to make ends meet on poverty-level wages. The cost of living in Orlando has been steadily rising, while wages have remained stubbornly low. Rent has skyrocketed, food prices have soared, and even the price of a churro at Disney World will make you want to cry, and not tears of joy. Families who once enjoyed a comfortable middle-class lifestyle are now finding themselves struggling to keep their heads above water. The American dream of owning a home, sending their kids to college, and retiring comfortably is slipping further and further out of reach. The magic of Orlando is fading, replaced by a harsh reality that's difficult to ignore. Chapter 5. Denver, Colorado, the mile-high city, known for its breathtaking scenery, craft breweries, and a cost of living that's enough to induce altitude sickness. Denver, once a haven for outdoor enthusiasts and those seeking a laid-back lifestyle, is now facing a crisis of its own making. The city's rapid growth, fueled by an influx of new residents seeking a piece of the Rocky Mountain paradise, has come at a steep price, one that's pushing the middle class to the brink. Remember those affordable bungalows nestled in Denver's charming neighborhoods? Well, they're now worth more than a king's ransom, snapped up by wealthy transplants who can afford to pay cash. The median home price in Denver has soared higher than a hiker summiting Mount Evans, leaving many longtime residents wondering if they'll ever be able to afford a home in their own city. And as housing costs have skyrocketed, so too has the cost of everything else. Rent has reached stratospheric levels, food prices have gone through the roof, and even a pint of craft beer will set you back a small fortune. The middle class in Denver, once accustomed to a comfortable lifestyle, is now finding themselves priced out of their own city. The unique independent businesses that once defined Denver are being replaced by chain stores and luxury condos, catering to the wealthy elite who can afford to live in the new Denver. Denver, the city that once promised a life of adventure and opportunity, is now a cautionary tale of what happens when growth outpaces affordability. From Phoenix to Denver, from Seattle to Chicago, we have seen what is happening. Prices are skyrocketing, jobs are disappearing, and people's trust is beginning to crack. The middle class, the supposed backbone of this country, is being slowly but surely ground down into dust. The American dream, once a promise whispered from generation to generation, is starting to feel like a cruel joke for many. Please share your story in the comments section because who knows, your voice might be the wake-up call that America needs to hear. Don't forget to share, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Because the more we talk about this, the more we shine a light on this issue, the less likely it is that we'll all end up getting crushed under the weight of it.